On yesterday, I posted a video in which I asked a question. It's more or less, is a free slave a thing? I said it's an oxymoron. You can't be free and then enslaved or a slave at the same time. It just won't happen. And the reason why is enslaved seems to make someone a slave, cause someone to lose their freedom of choice or action. And freedom is what we're talking about here. So you can't be a free slave, okay? And I want to talk to y'all about the first and second video that Vic Myers, who they call an old white guy, who's already had some time in the government, and I've kind of done a little bio on him, but I'm not going to share it with you because we only have a little bit of time. But there were some comments, interesting comments from people. Good people versus evil people. What do you think happens if you lose your birthright citizenship? They amend the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which guarantees protection under the laws and citizenship to all those born or naturalized in the United States. Now, it was ratified July 9th, 1868 as part of the Reconstruction Program to guarantee city and legal rights to whom they did not grant human rights to black citizens after the war. Now, this constitutional convention is a scary thing because it allows the present government to bypass a lot of the what we would call obstructions that would be in their way, okay? And so it opens up the Constitution for many changes, not just one. That's what they tell you. People are going to say, oh no, they won't do that. And then they'll watch it happen. I say to y'all, listen, and we'll come back to this.
This is part 3 of a 4-part video. First part was about the Dred Scott decision. Second part was about Donald Trump saying he's going to end citizenship. And today I'm going to talk about Article 5 of the Constitution. Article 5 tells us how we amend the Constitution. And when we think about amendments, most of us only think about how if you want to change the Constitution, then Congress passes an amendment. They have to have 2/3 of the House and the Senate. But if they do that, they send it to the states. And then the states ratify that amendment or fail to ratify it. And that's how you change the Constitution in most of our minds. But there's a second way. Article 5 also gives us the ability to call for a constitutional convention. To do that, you only need 2/3 of the states to call for a convention, and then it happens. Each state, if it happens, each state sends a delegation. Constitution's not clear exactly how they pick that delegation, but the states presumably would figure that out for themselves and choose who's going to represent them. So 2/3 of the states, that would be 33 states. If they get 33 states, they can call a constitutional convention. Currently, the Republicans control the state legislatures in 31 states. And out of those 31, 24 of them, they also control the governor's seat. So they're pretty close, folks. And they've been trying. There's a organization called COSA, Convention of State Action. It was founded by a guy named Mark Meckler, who founded the Tea Party. It's endorsed by Kevin Roberts, the lead author of Project 2025 and the president of the Heritage Foundation. Mike Johnson, our current Speaker of the House, well, when he was a state legislator, he voted to have Louisiana call for a constitutional convention. And so far, there's 19 states that have done so. 19 states who have said we need to have a constitutional convention. In the last 10 years, This COSA organization, they've had 2 mock conventions, sponsored in part by the Heritage Foundation. So we are closer than you think to having a constitutional convention. They've been working on it. They want it badly. And if they do it, well, the implications are quite scary. In 1986, the movie The Fly, Gina Davis said, "Be afraid, be very afraid." And tomorrow, I'm going to tell you why we should be. Good day.
And I'm going to tell you that the Constitution never fully removed the 3/5 of a human being out of the Constitution. And if they are on the path of removing birthright citizenship, then all of those old laws that we tried to amend becomes a moot thing, because right now that's the only thing that holds us from something that somebody said a long time ago, and it was about the Constitution. And it says a white man has no reason. He doesn't feel like he has any reason to respect the rights of a black man. Okay? Now, this is a legal thing. Now, a lot of people, they complain about a lot of things, but they don't do any research. One of the things that I noticed that, why do we amend certain things and just leave them in a position where they can be tampered with later on? And I think we know the answer to that, okay? Because they want to always leave themselves out in order to implicate what they wanted to do in the first place and make America only for whites. Even though the whites came here and took over indigenous land, okay? You were not the first people to be here. And I won't go any further into that, but I want to talk about a little bit about why we think that certain things won't happen, but we won't do anything to ensure that they won't happen. We'll argue with each other about simple slave terms when you know you're wrong. I mean, you can't have free and then you can't have enslaved in the same sentence. You know, it doesn't make any sense. One is free and one is not free, period. Oxymoron. Now, the fact of the matter is, we are getting educated by a man who had been in government 20 years. If I'm not mistaken, this man served for over 2 decades as a lieutenant governor. And if I may be wrong on that, but I'm just going from memory. I've read a lot of things. And so we need to step up our game. And those who want to be intelligent, who want to learn more, that's our purpose in life, is to add knowledge to the knowledge that we already have, then pass it on, okay? But if people do not want that, you can't make them have it, okay? And sometimes I think some things are over their head. But we do have a duty. We have a right, and we have to do all the things that we can do to prevent the onslaught of what I would call the Project 2025 train. And that train is on the tracks moving very fast, and if you don't watch yourself, you'll be caught on those train tracks, and you know what will happen. You'll get run over. Because if these people get their way, you'll really find out what a slave is.